streaming. I will send YouTube a black screen. And I will move the musical keyboard. Because it's distracting. Alright. Now we can take the iced coffee and move it a little closer. And we can go, hey Google, set lights to red.
Sure. Turning on 3 things.
Hey Google, set lights to red. Alright. Okay. Before I make any moves, I want to make sure that this is auto starting at 8 p.m. Okay. I hear you, Logan. I don't know if you can hear me. That's what I'm about to find out. Okay, so I am live. Alright, that's good to know. And it is intentional that you guys cannot see, because I didn't think that it would be actually going live until 8 p.m. And so I have you guys focused on my PS5, which is not turned on right now. Because right now I'm streaming my actual dashboard, and that's not ideal. So that automatically tells me that I am actually streaming this. Next time I will have a proper landing page, landing graphic or something when I live stream, but this is the first one I've done in like a year or so. For those of you guys who have just showed up before the stream actually started, I want to know how the audio quality is. Ah yes, Discord giving me feedback, and I need to tell M88 Youngling not to do anything, or not to say anything that he doesn't want shown on a live stream. Alright. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, while I'm still on a black screen here, I'm going to go ahead and create a new virtual desktop. Also, I love Windows 11's commercials, because they said that having virtual desktops and stuff is new, right? But, you know, the interface for it is exactly the same as Windows 10 RTM. And I don't know how this is new. It's the exact same interface. They changed it in Windows 10 Anniversary Update or whatever, or it was Creators Update, I can't remember. But then they revert it back in Windows 11. and it's new. Microsoft Logic. But we're going to move Discord over there. I want to move the stream dashboard over there. Alright, and then I have Spotify going just for myself, but I'm going to have it in the other desktop as well so you guys don't see it. Same thing with Unity Hub. You guys don't need to see Unity Hub. The only thing you guys need to see is Unity itself and Rider. And we can go move Restream over. And Steam needs to be open in the background so that the game connects to online services, so that'll be on in the background. And okay, we've got OBS. That should probably move to the other monitor as well. Or to the other desktop. Alright. Just gonna make sure that what I'm looking at here is actually socially distant and not restitched. It looks like socially distant. Should probably read the title bar and remember that I specifically closed Restitched. What do I mean? I will explain at the start of the stream. If you're wondering what I mean by Restitched. Alright, font size. I want to set that to 32. There we go. Okay. Actually, no, it needs to be a little bit bigger so I can read it. Alright, I can read that, kinda. Okay. Alright. Now we hit this handy-dandy little button here. And you guys should see code. Keyword should. Okay, you guys see code. Alright. And now, you should see Unity. And I should be able to tab between the two with no interruption. Because computers. But that's just a sneak peek. Because I do have to do a few more things. Well, I have 10 minutes left. We're going to go on Twitter and we're going to say, I'm going to go ahead and hit my profile up. And I'm going to retweet my own tweet to say, I'm live. Alright. And then we go ahead and... Oh god, I heard my own voice because I clicked on the video. That tells me it has really low latency. Good. Alright, so we're gonna hit Trixel first, because I like Trixel. Hashtag share, and I'm live. So Distant, we'll hit them next. Globe underscore riff underscore meridian. I'm live. At announcements, at events, at caffeinated. Not hyper caffeinated Discord, I said caffeinated. Discord lately has been very broken. Like, why is it listing hyper caffeinated before caffeinated? C comes before 8. At least that's what I was taught. It's not AB8DEF, it's ABCDEF. Alright. Alright, let's just make sure. Can someone send a message in chat? And because I'm doing something a little different this time around, which is why I haven't streamed in a while, and I will explain. But all I need to know is this working? So if someone can please send a message in the chat, I will let you guys know what's happening here. Alright, it's working. Okay, so what's going on here is, the reason I haven't streamed in forever is, okay, first of all, it is actually... Okay, so we got 5 minutes before the official start of the stream, so I will explain. I am blind, of course, which means I actually can't read chat, and I actually downgraded to a single monitor a little while ago, and part of that is obviously I can no longer have chat up on my monitor, because then you guys would see chat once in your actual browser and then again in the window, and it's not great. At least I don't think. And I wouldn't be able to read it anyway, because what I'd need to do is I'd need to screen read it, which means I'd have to pause, right-click it, highlight it, hit read aloud, and that's if my Chrome extension to allow me to do that is even working, because it's very finicky, so I just don't want to deal with that. So what I have done is, using Restream, I have a little app running in the background that's monitoring the chat, and every time someone sends a message, Restream will pick it up, and after a few seconds or so, it'll read it out loud to me through Windows. That way I can hear what you guys are saying. Now, obviously this means that it might distract me at some times when I'm programming, but don't worry about that, don't be shy. I might not always respond to that chat, but I will try my best. It'll be a lot better than previous streams, for sure. And I don't know how well this is gonna work, so this is a little bit of an experiment. I don't know how active the stream is gonna get. I've done some testing earlier this week with a few people from the Socially Distant and Trixel servers to make sure it all works, but I haven't actually had an active stream doing this yet, so bear with me. But yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna switch you guys over. It even reads out emoji. I don't know how I feel about that. Anyway, I've switched us over to the main stream so you guys can see Unity right now, and you guys can see JetBrains Writer. Now, I have increased the font size so that you guys can at least read what I'm doing most of the time with source code, but I can barely read this, so I will have to zoom in every now and then, and even more so I will occasionally have to kind of shut up and do this, read aloud selected text. And you guys didn't hear that, because I'm not recording desktop audio, but that just read it out to me, and that's a program that I wrote a little while ago for Writer that lets me do that. So we got a lot of tech going on to make this possible, which is, you know, pretty awesome. But, yeah, I will still need to zoom in every now and then, and there's no way to not record that without using multiple computers. So, yeah. Hopefully you guys are okay with that. I am going to do one more thing off camera here. I'm going to go into Spotify and turn the volume down a little. Alright, there we go. Okay. That is the pre-stream stuff done. So let's get started. I haven't really introed one of these in a while. If you're new here, like if you're from Trixel and don't really know what I do, my name's Michael, otherwise known as Acidic Light. I am the lead programmer of Restitched at Trixel Creative, and I'm also working on my own game, Socially Distant. That's what you're seeing in front of you right now, is the source code to it. Sort of. Socially Distant is an upcoming hacking game. It's narrative-based, and it's based around the events of the 2020 pandemic. And it's in very early development right now. It's honestly not been in a very presentable state until recently, because I've been very busy working on Restitched, as you guys can probably tell. But I wanted to do a stream working on Socially Distant, because I want to show you guys what it's like for me, given I'm blind and stuff, and this should be interesting. I'm not going to be working on any gameplay, because gameplay is still in a planning stage right now. It's not at a point where I can program any gameplay functionality. I'm going to be working mostly on UI in this stream, because I think that's also more visually appealing, ironically, given circumstances, but I think this is a good way to start, considering I haven't done a stream in a long time, especially a programming one. So hopefully you guys are interested. I'm going to be working on hopefully 3 things this stream. It's going to be partially, I mean, it's outlined in the description. I'm going to be working somewhat on customization and somewhat on shell notifications, which, if you don't know what shell notifications are, all I'm going to say is if you're running Windows, look down in the bottom right corner. That's where shell notifications go, in Windows. In Socially Distant, they're obviously going to go in-game, but it's the same idea. We're going to be working on those. And that'll involve putting UI together and stuff like that, and setting up an event system. And then, you know, maybe if I have time and energy, I will work on making my very own Socially Distant skin, based on a ShiftOS skin that I have. And that should give you guys a pretty good tour of how to use the skin editor that I've been working on. And I have coffee with me, so I should be pretty energetic throughout this stream, unlike previous ones. By the way, before I start, thanks to Potato Farm for kind of subsidizing the cost of that coffee. I have recently started a Patreon, which is linked in the description below, so if you'd like to support me as a programmer, it's just 1 cup of coffee each month, and you get access to exclusive Socially Distant devlogs. I will be doing private dev streams for Patreons only, and if you go for the $6 tier, you will also get the ability to have some source code that I might not release to everyone else. But to be clear, if you're supporting me on Patreon, I want to make this very clear that it is not Trixel. I am... if you want to support Restitched development, then I would go ahead and go over to Trixel Plus and support the entire team. I would feel much better if you guys did that. But if you want to support me as a creator and as a programmer, there is a link in the description below that you guys can check out. And Potato Farm happens to be the very first Patreon ever, so thank you. Anyway, that's enough helling for a day. Let's actually get started with some code. So, first thing I'm going to start off with is showing you guys the current state of this build of Socially Distant, because I haven't done a devlog in a while, and things are definitely a little bit different. So we're going to start off with getting the game running. Okay, so this is definitely not something I wanted to actually be in the game just yet, but I needed a menu screen, so this is it. But one thing that I have done is I've made the logo less prominent, so it's all the way down here, and I've removed the hell logo. We actually have a logo now, which is awesome. If you're on the Discord server, you may have noticed it. If you follow me on Twitter, you may have seen it. But we have a logo now, and I like it. I really like the new logo. It looks pretty simple from down here, but that's because it's a smaller variant of it. Hello, whoever that is. It does read out nicknames, but I don't know how to pronounce that, unfortunately. But hello, welcome to the stream. Anyway. The reason I made the logo less prominent in this menu is because eventually I'm going to replace it with a different sort of Windows 8 style login screen. So, this is a very transition period screen right now. Settings looks pretty interesting too. It's kind of meant to look a lot like the Discord settings interface, and it's missing a lot of stuff right now. In fact, funnily enough, this doesn't even have proper text set on it. So you go to your full screen mode and your options are option A, option B, or option C. That is a bug and I have to fix that. The About screen, you can see another version of the logo right there. I have removed the credits text temporarily. I will fix that later on, but you know, you can get to the forum and game data and stuff like that from here. And there's version info. And themes is temporary as well, but this is where you go to select your socially distant skin. So that's settings right now. Very, very transformative. Or not transformative, but transition period. But settings is not too interesting. I want to show you guys the desktop. So we will log in as desired to leave. So this was part of the previous devlog that I did a while back on this channel, is the desktop has been completely laid out differently. It used to be a tile-based interface, but that's going away. We're switching back to a floating-based interface. So those of you with playtest access on the server, by the way, I will be opening up playtest applications in either September or October, depending on how things go. So if you're interested, follow me on Twitter, and I will announce it there when it's ready. But yeah, if you have playtest access already, you already have the game on Steam, and you've seen the previous build that I put out that has this interface, so yeah, there's that. But Neofet, I've actually replaced the logo in it since the last build with the new pandemic style logo. So this is just the logo that you guys saw in the main menu, but it's been turned into ASCII art for Neofet. It doesn't have color in it yet, but that's because color codes are actually going to be rewritten eventually, and they're kind of grandfathered right now. So I don't want to color code this ASCII art and then have to go in and redo the color codes because I've changed the format for them. That would be annoying, so yeah. But other than that, Terminal's not really interesting right now. I am working on a pause menu, or not pause menu, but a dashboard type menu. So in Windows you have your start menu. On macOS you have whatever macOS has. I have no idea how to use macOS, but I assume that it has some sort of launcher menu other than the dock. And on Linux, on KDE you have a start menu. On GNOME you have a dashboard. This is a dashboard. So it looks like it's a gray overlay right now, and that's because that's all it is. But if you hit escape, you toggle between the dashboard and the desktop, and the idea is that the dashboard is going to have your system stats, it's going to have your mission information, and it's going to have a city map, and it's going to have your application launcher. So all the applications you have, you can launch them from here. And it'll have other things that are very gamified, like upgrades and stuff like that. So this is kind of like a pause menu, except it doesn't actually pause the game. We're not going to be working on that in this stream, but I thought I'd show you guys that it is coming. And, of course, we have this really weird-looking menu icon here that replaced the hell icon. This just opens that menu. And next to it, we have our pinned applications. We've got 4 in the game right now. And I've kind of opened all of them. Right. So we'll exit out of all these, because there's nothing really fun to show. And over here we have settings, which just opens the full screen settings interface. If you're wondering why there's a window border, that's actually because I haven't added support for borderless windows yet in the game's window system. And then this, I believe, is the logout button, except it doesn't do anything. Okay, that's great. I'll fix that later. But there's definitely a way to log out. You go into your terminal, you type logout, you get a little "Are you sure?" dialog, you click yes, or logout, takes you back to the main menu. And this is where we begin, because the next thing that we have is the dev console. And the dev console lets you do a lot of stuff that's not exposed to the game's user interface, like edit_skin. Takes you into this little debug menu here. You select the skin that you have available to you. And so, for example, I have blue and hacker. I'm going to go into hacker. And it opens up this interface here. Completely separate from the main game. This is the skin editor interface. As you can probably tell by the text at the bottom, this feature must be restitched. Yeah, Windows Longhorn. All of these skins except for Dark and Hacker are imported from ShiftOS skins, and specifically ShiftOS skins that were based off of Windows versions. So, those are just what I had on hand to demo the system. But, yeah, so this interface, if you've seen the Restitched reveal trailer, it might look pretty similar. I mean, you got your little toolbar in the corner here, and none of the icons are assigned, but I can tell you what each button does. We have new, open, save, export. This will be undo and redo, and then this will be published to Steam Workshop, which, yes, there's Steam Workshop integration in the game. And then you can exit from here, and then this looks kind of like a craft book in reverse, but the idea is each tab is a different user interface element. So if I click on this one, for example, well, not really a UI element, but you go in here and you can set your skin name and description. And then this one is the desktop interface. So this is where you go in and you set your desktop background, your panel color, all that wonderful stuff. And then this last one is the window border. So, it definitely looks very broken right now because it's imported from ShiftOS, but, you know, this lets you edit the look and feel of the game's window borders. And then this one takes a while to load. I'll have to fix that. I'm going to be adding more categories, but this lets you edit the application style, and the application style is what defines the look and feel of common UI elements, like the toolbar up here, and the buttons, and, you know, progress bars, and alert panels, and you can see that it's very broken right now because it's a ShiftOS skin. So, we'll be seeing more of this later, because if I get those shell notifications done, then I'll actually be working on the dark theme in the game to add notification styles, and then maybe we'll work on this hacker theme together. But for now, we'll exit out. And I'm actually going to exit out of the game itself. And give me one moment here because I realized that I forgot to do something. So I'm going to do that thing real quickly. Alright, I just forgot to plug something into charge there, so I did that. But anyway, we're going to start working on shell notifications. So, our story begins in Unity. And what we're going to go ahead and do is we are going to go ahead and click Quick Actions. And we're going to go to UI. And we're going to go Edit Shell Experience. And as you can see, we will end up in a new mode here in the editor. This is the desktop environment in the game. And you can tell it is because it looks pretty much the same as the regular screen that I showed you guys earlier, except nothing's skinned because the game's not running. And what we're going to go ahead and do is this little black square here. This is going to be a shell tray icon. So a tray icon is one of these things in Windows. You have your audio, your network, and then because I'm using my microphone right now, you can see this icon. And then inside here we have the expanded tray. I'm not going to go in there, but if you use Windows, you know what that is. And there's a bunch of tray icons in there. So Socially Distant has that same concept of tray icons. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is underneath this tray icon, I'm going to create a new transform, and we're going to call it Notification Stack. Alright? It's a notification stack. And we're going to set up a little content size filter. Or content size fitter, sorry. And it's going to be fitting to the size of the content in both dimensions. So that gives it an auto size effect. You can see that there's nothing in the notification stack. And so the size is therefore 0 by 0. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add a canvas renderer. And that just tells Unity that this is a visual UI element. And we need to do that because I'm also going to add a rectangle. A rectangle is part of Socially Distant. It's actually a third-party plugin called the UI Shapes Kit. And it allows me to procedurally generate rectangles. And it's a very core element of the game's skinning system, so we're going to need this. From here, what we're going to go ahead and do... Actually, no, we don't need the canvas renderer or the rectangle. My bad. I'm doing this improperly. We will need it later, but not for this UI element. What we do need, however, is a vertical layout group. And this is where we want to set how we're going to display notifications in the stack. So we don't want to auto expand, but we do want to control child sizes based on their scale, and we want to control their content sizes. And the spacing is going to be how much space is between each notification if you have multiple notifications. I'm going to go with 15 there. And padding, we really only care about... Actually, no. For this, I'm going to go 10. And padding is... We only care about the top padding, because that's the padding from where the stack starts to where the first notification is. So I'm going to go 15 for that. We don't care about... Actually, we do care about bottom padding. Never mind, and I will explain why later. Basically, it involves the desktop panel and the fact that it can actually be at the top or bottom of the screen, depending on the skin. Thank you. I'm not quite sure who said that because I wasn't paying attention to the nickname, but that was a very heartwarming message. Thank you. Anyway, what we're then going to do is we're going to set this to be aligned or anchored to the top right of the actual notification icon here. Now, there's some trickery that we're going to have to do. Because right now, if you look really closely, there's a little gizmo right here in the top right of this black square. That's indicating the origin point, and it's very jumpy for me to move around here because I'm very far zoomed into my screen and the mouse is very sensitive. But you can see this little gizmo here, right here, right here. And that is actually the origin point of the notification stack. And that's a problem. We don't want that. Because what'll happen is if there's a notification, it'll cover up this icon. So we need to fix that. Luckily, Unity uses a transform-based layout. It uses coordinate-based layout and instead of auto layout. Which means that I can kind of just do this on the Y position. And I need to make sure that the gizmo has actually positioned itself properly, and it has not. It has gone completely off screen. So we're going to do -24. This is also something that's very weird about Unity UI, is coordinates can be very weird to deal with, but I'm trying to see where it is. Okay, I think I see it. What's going on in here? We're doing some Unity UI. Because I'm working on shell notifications, which are if you get a Discord ping in real life, a notification will likely pop up. We're working on that, but in socially distant. And it's going to take me a little bit to get this all fine-tuned, but it's important that I get this aligned properly. Okay, I'm not sure what Unity is smoking right now. Okay, what we're going to try is we're just going to make a notification. Alright? So we're going to create empty shell notification. Yep, socially distant is a game. It is my game. It is coming to a Steam near you eventually. Alright, so we're going to put a canvas renderer and a rectangle, like we tried to before with the notification stack, but this time we actually want the rectangle. And here, we're actually going to add a horizontal layout group. And this is going to be funky, because welcome, Kyoto. I recognize you from LittleBigPlanet Union. Alright, so this is going to be very interesting, because this checkbox right here, what this does is it reverses the order that the UI is laid out in. So if I put an image, it'll become apparent what that checkbox does later. Alright, so I'm going to go in here and we're going to set the alignment to middle left, and I'm going to set the padding to 15 on all sides and the spacing to 5. So what that should do is automatically there's the notification, so you can see it right here. And in fact, we can actually go in and fix our notification stack to be laid out properly. Alright. Okay, so that looks pretty good so far. Naturally, I will have to fix this later on because the desktop panel can be at the bottom of the screen, and if I left it like this, where the location is hard-coded, notifications will be cut off in that case, but we'll get there. We're just going to focus on setting up the UI here. Okay, so with the notification in place, we can then go ahead and create a new icon. So an icon is just going to be an image and a layout element. And the layout element is going to have a minimum and preferred size of 48 by 48. And what this is going to do is, it looks like it's just making the box bigger, but it'll become more apparent what this is doing when I actually go in and set a color. So let's go with a big garish red. And as you can see, it just adds a little icon image there. It's a placeholder square. Right. So from here, what we're going to do is I'm going to add an info box here. And this info box is going to have a vertical layout. And we don't need any padding or spacing whatsoever. And inside this info box, I'm going to add 2 game objects, but we're going to start with just making one because they're going to be clones of each other. The first one is going to be application title. And all we're going to do is add a text mesh pro text UI to it. For the text, I'm going to say application title. For the font, we're going to do enter we'll go with light. And for the font size, I'm going to go with 18. Now, eventually, this will be... Actually, no, I'm going to go with 12. Eventually, this will be driven by the skin, but we're just prototyping the look of the UI right now. And at this point, we can actually zoom out. And then we're going to duplicate that object, and we're going to say message for the name. Notification message goes here. And I'm going to set the font size to 16. And the font to intermediate. Okay. Well, where is it? So you can see this is starting to look like a shell notification. You can't see the text or anything like that. Well, I mean, you kinda can if you look really closely, but white on white is not exactly something you can see. But you can see the shape of it coming together. Right, so, with that in mind, here's what we're going to do. So you notice how it has actually picked up an automatic width, 325.57. What we're going to do is we're going to round that up to 326 in our heads. And with this content size filter, we're actually going to go ahead and disable the width fitting. And then we're going to manually set the width to 326. What that's going to do is it's a little trick that I picked up. Where did the UI go? It's going to basically, you see how big this notification is? It looks pretty good. You know, it looks like it'll fit a decent amount of information for a notification. What we've just done is we've built one single notification and figured out what the width of it will be. Restitched, yeah, I like that. Anyway, what we're gonna do is we want all of these notifications to be this width. So by manually setting the width of the container, what we can do is in this vertical box, we can tell it to auto expand. And this will force all notifications to take up that width, no matter what. So that is our starting point. Now let's actually write some code. So I'm going to navigate my file browser here, and I'm going to go to UI, and I'm going to try to find Shell Experience. And inside of Shell Experience, I'm going to go create a new directory. Notifications. And I need to create a new class/interface. Where am I going here? I've done this a million times. There it is, class/interface. And we'll call it shell notification. And now we can actually write some code. So we're going to start by inheriting from mono behavior. That tells Unity that this is an actual script. And we're going to create an awake method. And inside this awake method, we're going to use a little bit of an extension method that is really helpful in socially distant, that basically checks all of your inspector properties and all of your object references to make sure they're valid. This is debug code, and what it'll do is if you say forget to assign a text mesh pro component to the script, it'll yell at you in the log without you having to actually go in and make it yell at you. And it works by taking the type of whatever script we're running and checking the current instance of that type to see what data is attached to it. With that in mind, we're going to create a few new dependencies here. I'm going to create a header, UI. This just gets the inspector of Unity to say UI above this variable. And I'm going to create a serialized field which tells Unity that this private field we're about to create should be part of the script's serialization. We should be able to see it in the inspector. And I'm going to declare a private text mesh pro UI application title. And we're going to duplicate this. Okay. Not entirely sure what key combo I hit there, but I definitely did something. And right here, we're going to change the second application title to message text. Next, we're going to do serialize field, private image, app icon. And up here, we're going to use Unity engine.ui. The reason I'm doing this is because if I just use tab, Rider is not always consistent about which using statement it uses, and I want to make sure I use the right version of image. So I've just done that. Okay. Now, I'm going to declare some settings up at the top here. And I'm going to just declare time to life, or time to live. So time to live, that's going to be how much time the notification will remain on screen before it disappears. And we'll program that logic later. Now we'll start by assigning, or no, adding this script to the shell notification object here. And we're going to add a shell notification. And you can see that those properties are here. Now, a good time value for time to live is actually going to be 8 seconds. So after 8 seconds, the notification will disappear. And all we have to do is go ahead and assign the components. So we'll start with the icon, the application title, and the message. Right. Now what we can do is we can actually prefab this. So we're going to go UI and shell experience notifications, and we're going to go ahead and prefab the shell notification. All right. And we can actually delete it from the notification stack. And while we're at it, we can prefab tray icon. Okay. So now that we have a prefab here, we're going to do a few more things. First of all, we're going to add a public void set icon, and it'll take a sprite. And we're just going to set the app icon sprite to the sprite that we're passed in. Alright, now we can add a public void set text, string title, string message. And we're going to do this application title equal .text equals title, and this .message text equals message. So that allows us to go ahead and set the actual stuff that displays on the notification. So that's really all it is in terms of UI. Nothing too special. But now we actually need a way to manage this notification, right? We need a way to spawn them in, and we need a way to go ahead and tell what tray icon to... We need a way to tell each tray icon to actually spawn a message in. That's where the code becomes a lot more advanced. Because what we need to do is we need a notification service. And a notification service is going to be a scriptable object. And we're going to go ahead and move this to its own file. Alright. Now, you probably saw it in the menu there, but Unity is telling me to go ahead and add a create asset menu. And we're going to do scriptable object / services / notification service. And inside Unity, we're going to create one. Alright, where is it? Scriptable object. Where is services? I have a feeling it did not compile. It did not. Why did it not compile? Unity, what's wrong? Wait, what? That's not what I wanted to do. I did not catch that. There we go. Alright. Okay, just one warning, that's fine. So now we can create that notification service. Actually, hang on. Never mind, I don't want it to be a scriptable object. I actually want it to be... So here's why I don't want it to be a scriptable object. I'm building this game in such a way where there can technically be multiple players. There's not going to be local multiplayer because it's a hacking game and that doesn't make sense. But I'm architecting the game in such a way where I can theoretically support online multiplayer. I don't know if I'm actually going to implement multiplayer, because for many reasons it's not something that's very feasible as an indie developer such as myself. I am, after all, just one person with a few people helping me out. And, by the way, everyone who's helping me out is awesome, but, you know, I cannot financially sustain a multiplayer server, so I don't want to worry about it right now, but I still want to have that possibility in terms of technology. And the reason I don't want this to be a scriptable object is because I would like the notification service to be on a per-player basis. You know, if let's say Halston and me are playing, or Halston and I are playing online on Socially Distant, and, you know, Halston gets a chat message from, I don't know, I'm gonna pick on another Trixel member, let's say Hunter sends him a message. And I'm online as well, but I'm not part of that chat. I don't want to see Halston's chat notifications on my desktop. And if I have this set up as a scriptable object, that's what's going to happen. So we don't want that. is you can only have, the way I was setting this up, you can only have one instance of a notification service, and we don't want that. We just want a regular old class. And the class is going to take a player instance as an object. Now, it's not going to need a player instance, but this just makes sure that you don't try to create a notification service for nobody. It has to belong to someone. Alright, so we have access to the player, and I'm also going to expose the player. Right, so that allows us to have a notification service for every player in the game. But we're not done yet. We actually need to find the player instantiation code and make sure that that player instance actually gets a notification service. So I want to actually exit out of the desktop. I want to go mandatory scripts. I want to go players manager. And there's the player instantiator. That's all of the stuff that can belong to a player. Now we're going to edit that script. And there's a method down here that creates a new player. And so this is the method that actually creates a new player instance. And inside the constructor here, what we're going to do is we're actually going to go into player data. And we're going to go public and notification service inside of player data. And you guys have probably seen code similar to this in the Constructor Consolidation video that I did the other day. So if you haven't seen that video, that was a video about how to, or where I gave a little tip, something that I learned from doing Socially Distant and Restitched, where if I see myself passing a whole lot of data to a constructor, like if I have 8 or more parameters, what I'll do is I'll consolidate all of that data into a struct, in this case player data, and then what I do is in the constructor I just pass an instance of that struct, and then it has all of the data that I need, and then I can store an instance of that struct in the actual object, and then I can expose properties through the object. That is a much more effective way of doing it when you have like 8 billion parameters for a constructor. So yeah, that's what I ended up doing for Socially Distant. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to expose the notification service as a property. And it's going to be the one attached to the player data. Now, in this case, I'm doing things a little bit differently because that notification service requires an instance of this player. So instead of me creating it in the instantiator, I'm creating it when we create the player itself, so inside the constructor. Just like that. Except that is not how you pass this to a constructor. You have to put it inside the parentheses. And there you go. So now every player has a notification service. But there's more stuff that we can do. Okay. Trying to think something through right now. I am going through a little bit of analysis paralysis right now. So while I think through something that I'm about to do, I want to know how y'all doing. I am officially out of coffee, by the way. Alright. I can see we're in the long haul tonight. Guess what? I'm gonna have to write a data table. And a scriptable object at that. So, here's the thing. There's no way for me to create train notifications in the game. Also, compiler errors are compiler errors. Where's the error? Oh my god! Writer! Writer! You're supposed to have contextual new. You should have known that this should have been a constructor for a notification service. What even is a news-style URI parser? What is that? I don't know what that is. You know, let's look it up. What is a news-style URI parser? What is a network news transfer protocol? We're going down a rabbit hole, aren't we? Either way, that's not what I wanted to create, Ryder. I'm not doing no Usenet stuff here. We're oh god, what's going on here? What? Extension of native class? What? Unity, what are you talking about? What is happening right now? I'm so confused as to what this error means. This is not an extension of a native class. Alright, what I'm going to do is I'm going to restart Unity. Okay? I don't know what I just leaked there, but I leaked something. I'm just gonna keep it focused on this window for now. Okay. Alright. Before I leak something else, we're gonna move this back into the proper desktop. There we go. Okay. I did make sure that Discord was not open to anything important that's under any confidentiality agreements, so I should be fine. I just couldn't tell. Anyway, I don't know what happened there, but the error's gone. Weird. Anyway, we're gonna need to write a dataset. Now, datasets in Socially Distant are kind of annoying. Because you guys remember that quick actions menu? You guys remember this menu right here? You know what? You know what menu you never want to have to deal with? This one right here. Asset tables. You never want to deal with this. Because you know what? You have to use this every time you add something new to the game that is not automatically picked up because of, like, prefabs or anything. So, hat scripts need to be imported through this. The editor modes have to be imported. Those are the tabs in the customization system. Programs, commands, all that wonderful stuff is in here. You don't want to mess with this menu as a programmer. And give me one moment, because I want to make sure that the stream is actually still up. So, we're going to switch. Okay, so I did make sure. So we are live. YouTube completely changed the YouTube studio. I have no idea how it works. Or not the YouTube studio, but the actual live dashboard. So OBS says I'm live. Okay, we're still live. I just got concerned for a sec. I don't know why. I always have this fear that everything's going wrong when I don't want it to. Including the internet. Anyway. We're gonna need to add one of those asset tables to the game. Because we need a way for me to actually create shell notifications. So, how are we gonna do this? First of all, we need to create a new scriptable object. Alright, so create asset menu, menu name. Scriptable object slash data assets slash notification icon. Okay. So we're going to move it into its own file here. Now, this is where we actually go ahead and set things like the app name and the icon, and any metadata that we would like to have in the notification icon. So let's set that all up. Private string app name. App icon. Okay, so that's all we really need is the app name and the app icon. So let's expose them as properties. And that's our scriptable object. But now we need a way for the game to store a list of these that I can access at runtime. Because a funny thing about Unity is it's insanely difficult to just find all instances of an asset. There are things like asset bundles, but I don't want to use them. There are things like addressables, but I don't want to use them. I don't want to use asset bundles because they're kind of old. And I don't want to use addressables because I don't feel like going into the inspector and toggling addressable and setting a path for every single instance of an object. That's annoying. I don't want to do that. And I don't want to fumble around a user interface to get this working. I just want to have a simple scriptable object that I can reference somewhere. And you know, it has a list of other scriptable objects. This is the way we're going to do that. It's a little hank, but it works. And that's what matters. Sometimes it's better to use your own system than use your engine's systems. Sometimes. Not all the time, though. Anyway, under social, what I like to do is I have a little template. The human asset table. I hear you, Mexi1can. I believe that's your name. That's what the screen reader read. But, I hear ya. Word, indeed. Microsoft Word. So we gotta take all of this code here, and we're gonna copy it. We're gonna paste it. And we gotta rename a whole bunch of stuff. Starting with the class name itself. Human asset table becomes notification icon table. The asset table creation menu becomes notifications table. Alright. Now we can move it into its own file and start renaming even more things. Alright. So, there's a whole bunch of stuff in here that is not being referenced properly, so we're going to fix that. There we go. Now, I don't want to reference humans. I don't want humans. I want a list of notification icon data. And of course I have to switch it over here as well. Okay, so now serializable dictionary string int So this allows me to look them up by ID, but I'm probably not going to be doing that. That satisfies. Wait, IEnumerable. What? Why is it complaining about this? What do you mean type notification icon data does not? What are you talking about? This is a property definition. What the f- I don't know what it's talking about, but wait. There's the problem. So it's cut off here, but okay, yeah, I know what's going on. It needs to be identifiable, or whatever I called the property. Or not property, the interface. It needs to implement something. Unfortunately, that font size is so incredibly small that I cannot read it. So if someone in the chat could say what it needs to be converted to, that would be very handy. Core.asset management. I'm straining really hard. iSearchable asset. Okay. iSearchable asset of string. There we go. Okay. So we're going to implement that. iSearchable asset of string. And all that forces me to do all that means is I need to change the app name to ID, and then it works. So, little roadblock there, but we're fine. Okay, so let's go ahead and keep going here. So this human asset needs to be replaced with notification icon data. Also, thank you, A-Shifter. I know you were kind of slow, but, you know, it helped. Okay, so these are the editor parameter, or editor functions, so we have asset search path, and private bool restitch. Okay, so, this is a hack. If you have an asset table open in socially distant, and you check the restitched box, this variable restitch becomes true. And then Unity will detect that you've changed the asset, which will trigger on validate, which will check if restitch is true. And if restitch is true, then it will import all of the data that it needs to. So that is a restitched pun written in C# source code. Because, you know, when you click this button, it ends up restitching the asset table. God, I'm a horrible person. Anyway, we're gonna continue on setting this all up here. We need to set ourselves dirty. We need to find all of the type name. Notification icon asset, icon data. There we go. Okay, so this menu needs to be changed. Import humans needs to become import notification icons. And what this does is it finds all instances of this data table, or asset table, loads them in, and tells them to restitch. Okay. Alright. So we have a data table. It's a little bit annoying. I keep calling it a data table, but it's an asset table. It's a little bit annoying to set up at first, but we've done it. That's the hard part of it done. So now, after I ear rape everyone with a sneeze a few times, get ready. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go into game data. And we're going to create that data table, asset table. I'm not going to stop making that mistake. I hear crickets. It's nighttime. Here we go. Where is asset tables? Ah! There it is. All tray icons. Oh my god, this is gonna piss me off. What is it, the 4th time I've sneezed? In the span of 5 minutes? Anyway, we're gonna create a folder, tray icons. It's gonna happen again. I'm gonna sneeze again. We're going to create a notification icon. Chat messages icon. App name is going to be chat, and I'm not going to worry about the app icon. Okay, so let's go restitch the asset table. All tray icons. Restitch. It crashed. We have failed to restitch the data table. Argument exception. Asset path. Oh, right. Dumb me. I have to set the asset path. That's kind of important. Alright, now we can restitch the asset table, and as you saw, I'm going to do it again. When I click this button, it checks for a single frame, and then it unchecks, and that means that it worked. It has imported the data. So we have restitched the asset table. We're good to go. Let the restitching continue. Alright. Now that we've restitched the asset table, let's go restitch the HAL experience to make sure that it actually supports tray icons. Okay. So, we need to go back to the HAL experience. Quick actions. UI, edit HAL experience. Now you see how I prefabbed this tray icon here, right? It's a very good thing we've done that. Because we're going to open that prefab, and we are going to go back into the code, and we're going to write some code. Imagine that. What else would I be writing in the code? A freaking diary? What am I even saying? Okay, okay. Alright, so I'm going to create a new class tray icon. It is going to inherit from mono behavior. Alright. Remember to assert all of our data. Alright, so this tray icon is going to need just 2 serialized fields that are considered UI. Or I can call them IO. That works too. Not really. What the hell was I thinking? Alright, so the first one is going to be a rect transform, and it's going to be that notification stack. You guys remember that, right? That was the start of the stream we put that together. And also, we're going to need the actual icon. And I lied, we do need one more thing, we need a prefab. For the HAL notification. Okay. So now we can go and assign the tray icon prefab, that component. Okay. So we're gonna go here and say prefab mode in context. I think I found a Unity bug. That is not supposed to help. But it does. Alright, and HAL notification. And then, bam! Tray notifications are set up as far as their UI goes. So we can now delete the tray icon from the system tray. Alright, so now, HAL experience. Alright, I'm thinking for a bit here. Alright guys, just a heads up. The microphone quality is gonna get bad. Because I need an air conditioner like crazy. It is hot as hell in here. If I want this stream to go well, I don't want to be passing out from heat exhaustion. So, apologies in advance. The air conditioner is going on. Oh my god. Let me know how the audio sounds. I hope it's not too bad. Okay. I don't know how the audio is right now, but we are going to continue as planned. I promise this will not happen in the future months because of winter being not hot as hell. Alright. So what we're doing now is we're adding the dataset for the notification icon table to the desktop. And then once that's done, we're going to add a rect transform for the system tray. So now let's go and assign that. Oh, excuse me, I am hiccuping. Hicking up. It's not a word. Okay, system tray is now set up. But we're not done yet. We need a prefab reference here for the tray icons. Okay, so here's how this is going to flow. The desktop is going to read from that asset table that has all of the tray icons in it, and it's going to spawn in a tray icon for each of those data assets. And it's going to assign the tray icon to that data asset. So that means that the tray icon gets the proper, icon image and knows what app it belongs to. Then what it's going to do is it's going to go to the player and tell the player what user interface element to spawn notifications for when a specific tray icon gets a notification. So what that'll let me do is from the hat application, for example, I'll get a context for the player that's running it, right? And that context will have the ability to spawn a notification for the hat interface. And then the game will be able to say, okay, well, this notification is for the hat app. I'm going to find the tray icon for that hat app, and I'm going to tell that tray icon to spawn a notification in. So let's get that all working. So how this works is, first of all, we need to go into the Hell experience and actually assign it the tray icon prefab. Alright, it's done. Now, I don't think we have a start method, but we do have an open method, and this is, or we have a show method, and this is it. What we're gonna do is refresh tray icons. It's gonna be a method. Now, inside of refresh tray icons, I'm gonna go ahead and tell the player manager. Now this is the current player for this client. So I'm going to say notification service dot destroy all tray icons. We will implement that later. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go through every icon in the tray icon, or no, the notification table. And all the assets in it. So, for every icon, we're going to instantiate a new tray icon. And it's going to be parented to the system tray. And then what we're going to do is we're going to say tray icon dot bind to asset icon. Then we're going to consult the player. Bind tray icon on the notification service. We're going to pass the icon and the tray icon. Okay, makes sense, right? Now these methods are red, which is telling me, or which is telling you that the data is not there. It doesn't know what I'm talking about. So we're going to go ahead and implement some of these methods. First, we'll start at the UI level, which will be the tray icon. Okay, so bind to asset. So that's going to assert that the data is not null. And all we're going to do is we're going to set the icon. That's all we're going to do. All we're going to do. That's all we need to do for that. Now, let's start at the notification service. This is where we start tying the UI to the backend. This is the fun part. So we're going to have a read-only dictionary of notification icon data assets to tray icons. And that dictionary is going to be called a tray. Pretty simple. Now, destroy all tray icons. What we're going to do is we're going to grab all the keys from the tray dictionary, and we're going to go through them in a loop. And we're going to grab the value. And we're going to do unity engine .object.destroy value.gameObject. And then we're going to remove the key from the tray. So that clears out the dictionary, but crucially it deletes all the UI associated to each notification icon, which you want to do, because otherwise you'll have ghost UI elements in the system tray and we don't want them. Now, let's bind the tray icon. So this is going to take in notification icon data icon tray icon tray icon. Now I'm not going to check if the data already exists in the tray. I don't need to, because I can guarantee that there will only be one reference. So I'm just going to do tray.add icon tray icon. What happened here? Oh, I forgot how to use my shift key. Tray icon. There we go. Okay. So now what we can do is we can actually run the game and see if we get a little square in the corner. We should, because we have one tray icon. Moment of truth, guys. And as you can see, we do not. Why? Why not? Check the dev console. Okay, weird. Nothing in the dev console. Or I don't know if there's anything in the dev console, actually. I haven't scrolled too far. Funny thing about the dev console is it will tell you absolutely everything the game's skin system is skinning. So, reference script. Okay, that's probably a problem. But I don't think it's a related issue. Debugging. I love debugging. Let's UI root, shell, root, status panel, system tray. There's definitely nothing in the system tray. And apps row. What happened? Where did it go? Did the code just not execute? Let's look at this in a debugger. F9. That is not F9, that is F10. Wait, no, it's F9. There we go. I'm gonna need to attach the debugger. Okay, let's have a look and see what happened. Okay, so it's definitely executing code here, that's good. But there's no data in there. There's no data in the data table. Why not? Why is there no data in the data table? What did I do wrong, guys? What did I do wrong? We're gonna find out. And we will find this bug. We will squash the bug. And we will restitch socially distant. We will. Lookup table. Not equals 0. Okay, so there's no data. Alright, why? So we have game data, we have all tray icons. Asset slash game data slash tray icons. Oh my god. All that because I put an S at the end? You know what? No, I'm mad. I'm mad. That should be a plural. Why did I not put an S at the end of the folder? Why? Why? That's not how this works. You gotta put the S at the end of the folder. All tray icons. Restitch. I can't believe I didn't catch that. That should have worked. That should have never happened. See, now we have a tray icon. So what I'm gonna do now is what am I gonna do? I need a way to test it, right? So what I can do is I can create a command. Or what I can do is I can create a dev menu. So let me show you guys how easy it is to create a dev menu in Socially Distant. A dev menu is a command in the game. Not a terminal command, but a dev command. And what it does is it pops up a list of items. You select an item, and it gets a callback. And then it can do whatever it plans to do with that icon. Or not icon, but that menu item. And the way it works is you create a method, show notification sheet. The convention is to do underscore sheet at the end, right? And it can take a parameter. So in this case, I'm going to give a message text parameter, and all you do is annotate it with the sheet attribute, and then you specify the name of the command. In this case, show notification. And then inside the method, what we're going to do is developer menu create object list. And then what you do is you specify a title for the object list. So in this case, select target tray icon. Then we pick, so we need to select, we need to send an IEnumerable of whatever we want to select. So in this case, it'll be notification table dot assets. Then we need to go ahead and, what the hell? Oh, what did I do here? This is why I use explicit this, and anyone who tells you not to is crazy. Alright, so, the next thing that we do is we need to set up a predicate to determine the name of each button. So it's just a function returning, or taking a mess or an object from the array that we're passing, and then returning a string. So x is equal, or x returns ID. Simple. And then this is where we define the callback. So with an icon, we can go ahead and tell the player manager's notification service to go ahead and display a notification for this icon. Passing the message text along. So this exposes a socially distant API command to the dev console in a vaguely elegant way. So now we just need to set up the display notification button, or oh my god, notification method. I'm going to eat something after this stream because I feel like I'm going into low blood sugar. Oh god. Show message. And all we're going to do is if try get value icon out bar tray icon, then tray icon show message text. So that sends it along to the tray icon. So now the command has gone from socially distant API to socially distant user interface. And you can see how things are propagating throughout the game. So this is really simple. All we have to do is instantiate a shell notification. And parent it to the notification stack. And then we set the icon. And then we have a problem. We don't actually know what the app name is, so we're going to fix that. Oops. And then with the app name now known, we can do shell notification.setText app name message text. Oops. Nope. We don't do message text, we just do message. And apparently not. There we go. Okay. That's all it takes. Whew! Okay, so we just implemented an entire dev command. So let's see if it works. So we're going to go into the shell experience, and then we're going to do show underscore notification hello Stuffy. You're not in this game. And as you can see, it's going to pop up this dialog box here, and it's asking me for a notification target. You click chat, and there's the notification. Now it's not skinned, but it's there. But there's another problem, it doesn't actually go away after 8 seconds like we wanted it to. But that is relatively easy to program. It is very easy to program, actually. What we're going to do is we're going to go into the shell notification itself. I'm going to show you guys a little trick. If you're a Unity programmer, then you might actually find this very helpful. So pay attention, lads. Alright, so what we're about to do is we're going to trigger an action after a certain amount of time. Now you might be thinking about doing something like this, where you have a time-elapsed variable or something like that. And then what you might be inclined to do is do a void update. And then what you do is you do time-elapsed plus equals time.delta time. And then you'll probably do something like time elapsed is greater than, in this case, time to live. And if this is the case, then you trigger the action. But no, there's a better way, a more elegant way to do this. So we're going to get rid of that time elapsed variable because it's a noise. Unity has coroutines. Coroutines are parallel actions that execute on the game thread. It's a little hard to explain what that means, but I'll show you. First, we're going to create a private void start. So this will occur first frame that the object is actually alive. And we're going to start a coroutine. And the coroutine name is going to be destroy after set time. Now, destroy after set time, we have to declare that as a method. Now, you might be thinking, private void destroy after set time. Because, you know, it's a coroutine, it's not going to return anything. But no, this is not how you do it, this is not a coroutine. What makes it a coroutine is the fact that it actually returns an enumerator. What this allows you to do is, and I use it a lot in Social Instant, a lot. What it lets you do is it lets you break up a massive operation across multiple frames. So I could, for example, debug.log cloning humans, and, you know, consider that an expensive operation, even though it's not. And then what I can do is I can say, okay, you've done this, yield return null. And this will tell Unity, okay, I'm done doing my thing, continue running the game. So this, you can think of this as yielding execution back into the game code. But it gets better, because there's another thing you can do with coroutines. You can actually yield and return an object. For example, you can wait till the end of the current frame. Or you can start another coroutine. Or you can load a scene and have it wait for the scene to load. You can do all sorts of cool things with coroutines, including wait for seconds. And this simply takes an amount of time in seconds, which I will pass time to live, and it waits that long. Now in this case I'm going to have to cast it to float, because I forgot Unity works with floating point numbers, not double precision floats. But what this will do is, I have it set to 8 seconds in the asset, right? So what this coroutine will do is, it'll wait 8 seconds. You know, Unity will do other things while it waits. And then, what will it do? Well, once it's done waiting 8 seconds, we're gonna destroy ourselves. And now we don't need to worry about tracking time. We just say, hey, Unity, wait 8 seconds, do this. Let's see it happen. Alright, so let's go into the dev console, show underscore notification, test. We're going to pick chat, and watch the notification. It's gone. After 8 seconds, it disappeared. We did it! Now, here's the fun part. We get to skin it. Because right now that's a white box, and white boxes are not exactly fun. You know, you can't read them, they don't look interesting, they're kind of boring. So let's fix that. Now luckily, Socially Distant is very declarative in how its skin system works. Let's go into shell notification. We'll start with the background. What we can do for the background is, because we have this rectangle on it. Now, in the future, I might do a custom style for the notifications, but for the sake of this stream, what I can do is I can make this a styled panel. And I can make it a header bar, or I can leave it as is. But you know, maybe I don't want to do a styled panel. Maybe I want to make it an alert. Because you know what's an alert? It's a notification. And right away, it lets me set icon text and stuff like that. And I can set a color. So maybe instead of default, I want to make it success. But actually, I'm going to leave it as default. So that's the background. Now for the icon and text, it's pretty simple. For the icon, we can just kind of go in and there we go. And I'm going to use the message text. This is why I want to use a custom style eventually, because the alert, I have a feeling it's going to do some funky stuff. This is not meant for notifications, but we can fix the bugs as they occur. Show notification test. Yeah, it did some funky stuff there. Actually, no, it didn't. It worked pretty well. All things considered. But what happened there is I actually made a fatal mistake here. This, I actually want to go ahead and force expand the width. Alright, let's do test. And as you can see, we did it. We did it, guys. We have tray notifications. We did it. Now, I kind of underestimated how long that would have taken. Honestly, it took way longer than I expected it to. Part of it was debugging the data asset table, but, you know, we got through it. But, yeah, I am very much not in a mental state to continue programming right now. I'm feeling pretty low energy right now. I do need to eat a snack, so I probably will. But, you know, you guys have been awesome. It wasn't that active of a stream, which I didn't expect it to be. It was kind of impromptu, and it's very late at night. I don't usually do them late at night. But, you know, you guys came along anyway. Some of you guys from socially distant, some of you guys from the Trixel server. It means a lot. I will be doing these every month. The way it's going to work is I'm going to do 2 streams each month. Except for this month because it's very late in the month and I can't do another stream this month. But starting next month, September, we're going to do 2 streams every month. One of the streams will be public, like this one, and the other stream will be Patreon only. So if you want to be a part of both streams, then you can head over to the Patreon link in the description below, and the second tier has the live stream access benefit. So that'll really help me out and support me as a programmer. Doing this is not free. You know, it's a lot of investment to actually put a game like this together. I've been thankful enough to get by with very little amounts of money, but game development is not cheap. It is not something that you can really do for free, especially when you're blind and you have to, you know, have graphic designers and artists and UI designers help you out because you can't do them on your own. So obviously those guys got to be paid. So The Patreon money helps out with that. It also helps keeping the server up for the website and helps me pay for the domain name. So, you know, if you guys want to support me and help keep the game going, it would really mean a lot to me. Of course, you don't have to. I will keep doing these streams for free. And I will keep doing devlogs for free and all that wonderful stuff. But if you want some extra exclusive stuff, you can, and you want to support me, then it's there for you. Anyway, I am going to end it off here, because like I said, I'm very hungry right now. I've got to eat something. And I don't want to go too late into the night, because it is getting kind of late. But yeah, you guys have been awesome. Thanks for showing up to the stream and hanging out for a little bit. I don't really know how to outro this, but I guess I'll use the YouTube video outro. So with that all said, as always, I've been Michael. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you learned something, and I'll see you guys in the next video. And oh my god, that was... I butchered the outro. I have been doing that so much lately, butchering my outro. It's supposed to be like this. As always, I've been Michael. Hope you learned something. Hope you enjoyed the video. And now we'll see you guys in the next one. That guy just said hedgehog randomly. And thanks so much for watching. Alright. Thankfully, I don't have to fumble around with OBS to end the stream off anymore. I can just, you know, hit this button and see you later.